What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so before I get into this video, shout out to the brother Magnetic Discovery with the donation to the channel via the PayPal. Once again, showing love. Truly appreciate you, brother. And y'all might remember this. This is actually a bit old. But you know what? I don't think I actually ever did a video talking about this. Maybe I did. But he sent me a video request. He says, what do you think of Jamie Foxx's statement that if LeBron cured cancer, they would say, what about diabetes? Is Jamie Foxx misinformed? Now, for those of you who may not remember this, I think it was, it's not been like 2 years ago, maybe, when he said this, or a year and a half ago. I can't recall. Jamie Foxx, I think, said it in a statement on Instagram about if LeBron had cured cancer, his haters would say, well, what about diabetes? And I think he said something else to the extent of, this guy scored 40,000 points. And, you know, well, this had to be 2 years. It had to be a year ago if he said 40,000 points. He said he scored 40,000 points and carrying this bum-ass league for 20 years. And then he reiterated that point. I think he might have been on The Shop or something right here.
Yeah. Where's the camera? He's number one. Where's the camera? He's number one. The percentages. Stop all the hype. He drinks goat milk and eats goat cheese. He's number one. I've had it. With all of y'all. Let me fix my glasses.
Look, man. You know, the state, everybody's entitled to their opinions, right? If Jamie Foxx want to think LeBron is the GOAT based upon stats and longevity numbers, fine. You know, if that's how he looks at that, fine. Okay. But the statement where he scored 40,000 points and has been carrying his bum-ass league for 20 years, what are you talking about? First of all, that's a disservice to the league, his competition. You're acting like this guy's been out here putting up numbers and winning every year, which is not the case. Okay? He's been to 10 NBA finals, but he lost 6 of them. You know what I'm saying? He lost 6 NBA finals. And it's just interesting to me how every other player I can think of in NBA history with a losing finals record, it's a negative against them. Whether it's Wilt Chamberlain, whether it's Elgin Baylor, whether it's Jerry West, you know, any player like that has a losing finals record, it strikes against them. I think Bob Pettit has a losing finals record, but somehow with LeBron James, there's always these excuses. The biggest excuse is that, oh, well, he played against a super team. You know what I'm saying? And with the Warriors. And nobody wants to hear that. Because, number one, that team wasn't going 82-0 every year, or even 70 and 12 every year. Matter of fact, the last year that Durant was there, I think they went 57-25. That's a standard NBA record. That means you lost 25 times during the season. Didn't the Clippers take them to 6 games in the first round, Durant's last year there? Then in 2018, the Rockets missed 27 threes in a row and still only lost by single digits to this supposed super team. But it's the same pre-Kevin Durant Warriors team that was down 3-1 to the Thunder. So nobody wants to hear this bullshit excuse. And Jimmy Foxx, you're an incredible comedian. I've always defended you. When people have critiqued your talent, you're one of the most versatile dudes I've ever seen. But basketball may not be your lane to sit up there and, to pronounce anybody the GOAT. Because, like I said, if it's about stats, then maybe the GOAT should be my boy Wilt. If you're talking about gaudy numbers and percentages, Wilt Chamberlain led the league in rebounding 11 of the 14 years he played. He led the league in field goal percentage 9 of the 14 years he played, if I'm not mistaken. He led the league in scoring 7 of the 14 years that he played. He probably would have led the league in shot blocking as far as blocks per game, probably like 8 or 9 of the years that he played. He even led the league in assists one year as a center. So we talk about gaudy numbers, and it should be Wilt. But then you'll talk about the finals record. If you want to negate him, right? Or holes in his game, like free throw shooting. But then we talk about holes in LeBron's game, then, we go through this whole moving the goalpost shit. And that's the problem that we have. Michael Jordan fans, when we talk about his GOAT case, we don't have to do that. The only thing that you guys have is stats, accumulative. But if we talk about per game stats, if we talk about accomplishments, we talk about accolades, we talk about skills, we talk about championships, and we talk about competition. Because I've said this before and I'll say it again. Yes, LeBron James went to 8 consecutive NBA Finals, but it was also coincided with the period of time when the Eastern Conference at that time was the weakest the Eastern Conference had been since the 1950s. Whereas when Michael Jordan was going to the NBA Finals in the 90s, for the most part, the Eastern Conference was the strongest it had been in quite some time. Overall. Sure, you didn't have a juggernaut Celtic team. And sure, you didn't have a juggernaut Sixers team. But I will also argue that if you look at the Eastern Conference in the 80s, it was top heavy. Because I give you the example I'm talking about. In 1986, the Celtics played the Bulls in the first round, correct? How many games did the Bulls win in 86? 30. And they barely qualified for the 8th spot. The Celtics won 67 games. That's a 37-game disparity. Fast forward to 1997, when the Bulls were in the middle of their second three-peat, I think the Bulls won 69 games that year. And the 8th-seeded team, the Bullets, the last year they were the Bullets, I believe they won 44 games. You see what I'm saying? That's more disparity. That's more parity, I should say, in the East. An 8th seed won 44 games. Whereas 10 years earlier, the Bulls won 30 games and were the 8th seed. So you had a bunch of super teams in the East. Whereas in the 90s, the talent was more diverse and spread out. That 97 Bullets team would probably have won 50-something games 10 years later in the 2000s in the Eastern Conference. Probably won 57 games. So we can go down this road, but at the end of the day, your boy ain't the GOAT. He's left the game in worse hands. He never really truly dominated in any particular time period in the league as far as winning is concerned. When he first came into the league, the most dominant players as far as winning were Shaq and Kobe and Tim Duncan. Then afterward, you could make a case that the Heat were making some noise, but they underperformed considering that most people were thinking this team was going to win 4 or 5 championships, and they didn't happen. They won 2. Okay? Then he goes back to Cleveland and goes 1-3 against Steph Curry in the finals. The only argument this guy has are stats. And I've said before and I'll say it again. Nobody considers Emmitt Smith the all-time leading rusher, the greatest running back ever. Pete Rose has more hits than anybody else in the history of baseball, and almost nobody calls him the greatest hitter. So, anyway, that's all I got to say about it. Tell me what you guys think.
Core real.